All right. So this is session 2 of the last conclave. Um, Last time that we played, you had earned a day off from your routine. At which point you had gone to well, you got into speeders. You had a little race, which was enjoyable. You went to Mayron's town, which is one of the small towns nearby, where you talked to some girls. You drank a beer, and then you went to shoot some rats. At which point, a weird little cat attacked you, and then several cats attacked the town itself. But you managed to repel those. And then after that, you wanted to try and hunt down the source of these cats. At which point, you went into the east of Mayron's town. You sensed some sort of darkness and were attacked by some very strange red lizard type thing, size of a horse, which nearly ate some of you. But I think Dante was quite tempted to the dark side, but with the encouragement of Pawn near death, managed to pull himself back towards the light and send the thing away. And then you went back to the monastery where you healed. For about a week, you sat in meditation, relaxing and trying to center yourself once again. And it was about a week after that an imperial vessel landed in the courtyard outside of the temple, black Lambda-class shuttle. And out of it stepped several stormtroopers, but also a man dressed in black robes. So what would you guys be thinking? What would your reaction be upon seeing that?
I think for Chey, it would feel like the rigidity of just the routine of training as a Jedi, or to become more deeply attuned with this force sensitivity that he's seen in this monastery, like training facility, would be just disrupted completely. Seeing right in the courtyard just a ship, just there with its presence where only Jedi or training Jedi have been seen before. It'd be quite dissettling.
I think as oft before, naturally Nero would slink off to some shadow, like smelling some greater predator, or sensing some greater predator, I should say. Make herself absent.
Yeah, definitely. There's a sense, even if you aren't particularly strong in the Force, there's a definite sense of darkness. You know,
the fact they landed right in the courtyard too, like this.
Very brazen. Master Arn would find you wherever you are and gather you, and he would say, "This is bad. You need to go."
You'll come with us, Master.
I cannot. I have to face him.
With all of us, we can overpower him.
No, this is not a fight to be won. I have to face him, and you have to go.
Who is he, Master?
He was a student of mine a long time ago when I still lived in the Jedi Temple. A long time ago, a lifetime ago. I've not seen him since. He was seduced, it seems.
I feel like a cold walk of fingertips up my spine as I look over at Dante. You hear like a little bit of a horn play in the background.
He was seduced by the dark side of the Force.
Do I sense any emotion in the Master? Is he like kind of taking this hard on himself, like it's his fault?
Yeah, you would see it. I guess almost physically, you would see shoulders slumped. He looks almost nervous.
Pawn will like square up his shoulders and say, "Can he not be saved?"
I will try, but I do not want you to come to harm over my failures. He has come for me, that is clear. But if he finds out that you are here, he will come for you also.
I would obey your instruction, Master, but where would you have us go?
Away from here, take the speeders. There's a ship I keep near Mehron's town. Take it. Get off this planet. Get as far away as you can.
Pawn will get like ever so slightly emotional, and he'll say, "But Master, we're not ready. Our training's not complete."
No, you're not ready. But I'm proud of all of you. You've done well. You've stuck to my teachings every day. Yes, your training is not complete. You will have to train in a more unorthodox manner. Do your best to bring light to the galaxy. And then you hear a shout from the courtyard. Old man, I have come for you.
And it would be clear that Chey has to fight a sort of an instinctual urge to just yell or just to be provoked by that. But he would force his head down and he would bow to the instruction of his master.
I know this is hard. You must let go of your attachments. We're all one in the Force.
Pawn will say, "I'll never forget what you did," and he'll turn and start running.
And Chey will he'll hesitate and he'll look back to the ship in the courtyard if it's still in view. But beyond that, he would turn and make a pace for the speeders, or at least take the swoop bikes and on to Mehron's town.
Yeah, you'd see the master walk over to like the edge of the balcony you're standing on and drop down. And you'd hear the black-robed man say, "Search the facility. There are others hiding here. Kill them." He says, "Master Arn, how I've waited for this day. You thought you could hide from me. There's nowhere in the galaxy that the Jedi can hide now."
When, having been silent through the conversation, as the master moves to the balcony, Dante takes a few steps to follow him. As he jumps off, and then he hears the words of the robed figure, and he stops and he closes his eyes and lowers his head. And he says, "I will keep them safe, Master. May the Force be with you." And then he'll turn and run after the others.
Yeah, you can hear the master say, "I wondered when you'd come. It's not too late to turn away from the path you're on, child." And you just hear like a chuckle as you guys begin to run for the speeders.
Is there Lloyd anything here of order to like a value rather to the Jedi Order, like any archaeological artifacts or maybe even something as lofty as like a holocron?
There could be, yeah. Master Arn has private quarters that you guys don't go into.
So when we're running out, I'll go, "Psst," and I'll say, "We have to go to the Master's quarters. If he has anything there that's from the old order, we can't let it fall into the hands of that man."
Go and be quick. I will watch the entrance.
Thank you, Dante. And I will just fucking bolt into the complex.
Yeah. So like with crazy force speed, you're like zipping away into the complex itself. Not even going with them.
I'll do my best to kite alongside him if I can. If there's like hidden paths or like somewhere shadowy I can stick to, even unseen by Pond himself.
Yeah. Go ahead,
I'll
Jack.
stick down with Dante. Have my rifle in hand.
Yeah. You guys are basically. So if you imagine the courtyard is like on the left-hand side of the balcony, if you were standing on the balcony in my picture, for example, the left-hand side is where the courtyard would be. The speeders would be on the other side. So you've kind of jumped down that side. But you can still hear the goings-on from the courtyard. And you can hear the black-robed man say, "This path has brought me power. You always sought to limit me. I have become so much more than you ever dared to be." So they're clearly having this pretty intense conversation as you guys run in.
Away here was echoing off the wall. She'll like stop in her tracks for a moment, like nearly overbalancing, she rights herself and like shakes the words away and then follows on after, or the trail that Pond zipped across.
You hear the master say, "You've become lesser than you were. The dark side has corrupted you. Turn back to the light. I can help you, child." And he says, "I am not a child. I will show you how powerful I've become." And then you can hear as lightsabers ignite. And yeah, you guys zip into the facility itself, and you run past your own quarters, which are Spartan, very aesthetic, aesthete, I guess. And you run past them towards the master's chambers. There's no lock. The door opens immediately, and you can see it's similar to your own quarters, very basic. But you would see that there's a door in the back that does have a lock behind his bed, almost. Other than that, it's a very, very simple thing. A couple of fruit lying in a bowl, a clean bed.
Pun will come to like a halt in front of the door. What's the construction of the door itself?
It's wooden, like most of the things here.
I'll think to myself, damn it, I don't have time for this. And I'll just try to like back up and run and kick it through.
All right, sweet. Give me a athletics or melee.
All right, I'll do athletics.
I think it's just going to be difficulty 2.
Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to roll that die. That force die.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 success for advantage.
Yeah, you take a running jump and you flying kick. And there's a crack as you smash through into this little chamber. Unlike the rest of the place, this is like white walls on the inside, and you can see that there is a this weird sort of square thing floating in sort of a repulsor field. You probably recognize it as a hologram.
Yeah, I'll like get this just stoic look on my face, and I'll slowly walk up with my hand out, just not worthy of what I'm about to do. And I hear Master Arn's like teachings from earlier in my life, as he's like, the Jedi were guardians of peace and purveyors of justice across the galaxy for over 1,000 generations. And my hand will come down and I'll feel it, and like though it weighs nothing, the weight of it is just like crushing me. And
Yeah.
I'll like just tuck it in, and I'm like, no matter what happens to me, this has to survive. And I'll just turn with like purpose and take back the other direction.
Yeah. You grab it and you start zipping out the other side. Now you guys can hear, who are at the speeders, you can hear an intense fight going on. And there's sort of a verbal sparring with Master Arn just pleading, "It doesn't have to be like this. You can turn back to us." And just like screams of rage from the man in the black robes. As you're standing there waiting tensely, like every second feeling like it stretches on and on, some stormtroopers pop their head around the corner. "Oh, there they are. Oh, crap. Get them." And roll initiative. I think it would be vigilance.
All right.
Okay, so Nico, you just got to roll vigilance. So have a look at your character sheet, whatever that is, and just roll those dice.
Okay.
No difficulty for initiative. You just roll, and then whoever has the most successes goes first.
Okay. Click the 2 greens and then pressed roll. Nothing showing up on your end.
No.
Sometimes if you exit out and then reload just the beta app itself, sometimes that'll
Okay.
fix it.
Hmm. Should I reload my browser?
Yeah, I'll just roll it for you, and then you can do that in the meantime. What is your vigilance?
2 green.
Sweet. Okay. In a draw,
Players win on draw.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so one of you guys goes first. I would guess it's either going to be Dante or Chey, since you're the ones who see them pop around the corner and they're like, "Oh crap!"
Sure, and I was sort of squared off, anyways. Yeah, with my gun at the hip, ready to blast off, so I could take a shot.
Yep.
All right. 2 purple.
Yep.
All right, 1 success. So it does 10 damage. The heavy blaster rifle.
Nice. Yeah, so you pop up and you catch one of the stormtroopers right in the chest, and he falls to the ground.
Excellent. And yeah, Chey just tries to get out of the line of sight for Dante to ring off a shot or two. Although he may not have the same armament.
Yeah. Okay. So it's one of you guys next. Who would like to go?
I guess I'll go. So there's 1 left.
There's 2 left. There was 3.
2 left. And about how far away are they?
They would be within short range.
Sorry, 1 second here. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close as I draw my force pike. And attack 1.
Alrighty.
So, what's the difficulty 2?
Yep.
Ooh, that's not good.
No, it's not good. You rush up to one of them and you try and get a swing in, but he steps out of the way, and I think you'll be overbalanced, giving a boost to the guy who tries to shoot you. And then it's one of your guys' turns.
Pond's quicker than me, like zipping about, so I imagine he'd go before me.
Okay. How far away would you say they are, Lloyd?
From you, you would run all the way in there, but I guess you're moving at like easily twice the speed of a normal person. Probably like 2 maneuvers away.
All right. What I'll do then, actually, I'm going to take just a single maneuver to go in, and I'll wait till next turn. But I'm going to use something as cover, like a lip on the wall, crates, anything that I can use to duck behind.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so you zip up behind some cover. Sorry, then the stormtroopers go. So yeah, you run up to one of them, you try and get a slash at him, Dante, but the other one pulls back and tries to fire with his blaster.
Okay.
Do you have any defense?
Not against ranged.
Okay. Okay, he's going to hit you. So it'll be 9 damage.
Ouch.
That's your soak. And I need to do the threat.
Maybe it, because I'm engaged with the other one. When he shoots me, it affects the other one, putting him off balance his next turn, I guess.
Yeah.
Makes it easier to hit.
That sounds fine. That's good to me, yeah. He kind of ducks out of the way. He sees the blaster shot incoming and ducks. Okay, and then Nera.
I was looking in the direction of like the Masters fight beyond, but then when I hear like the blaster go off, my eyes turn to see Dante wounded. I'm going to begin moving towards him. If Pond's 2 maneuvers away, I guess I'm more than that. So I'll just yeah, do what I can to get to within my heal range of Dante for now.
Yeah, no problem.
If Pond sees you coming up that direction as well, he's like leaning against the crates with his vibro rapier out, and he'll like motion to you to come to him for cover.
I'll do so.
Yeah, as you move, you
Fling
can
down
see
and
like
pull out my vibroglaive.
yeah, nice. You can see like through the gaps in the building, like it's almost like a little porch underneath. You can see the battle raging on the other side, as this guy with a red bladed lightsaber is just like pummeling down, just total pure emotion and very little technique, just like screaming. Yeah, and you keep running. So then it'll be back to the top. Who would like to go?
Chey could go. He'll charge in right beside Dante, and I think using Brawl, he'll just smash the butt of his rifle into the face of a stormtrooper, if possible.
Yep, definitely.
Awesome. And triple success.
Excellent.
So my bronze 3, and then what do I get? 2 extra points of damage?
Yeah, I think improvise. We'll just call it improvise. Plus 2. So it'll be 5.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You crack him, but it seems to just like dent his arm a little bit. He doesn't seem to feel too much of it, but it does kind of knock the air out of him. Dante, or actually any of you. I keep forgetting there's no set initiative.
I'm cool with Dante going again. I have a plan to try to set Nira up if that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so as I take this heavy blast, crying out in pain as I stumble back, I will turn, focusing on the one in front of me as my brow furrows slightly, lines creasing as I concentrate, attempting to use my influence on him.
Okay. So he makes it's against his discipline. Is that right?
Yeah, I use that as the difficulty.
Okay, that's so it would be. So if they have proficiency, and does that make it a red? No, it just increases it by another purple. Or
What's the check you're doing?
it'd be discipline, but the stormtroopers have because there's 2 of them still. They'll have 1 yellow and 2 greens.
Yep. If yeah, it would upgrade. Well, there's only 2 of them. What's their disciplines 3?
Yeah.
Then it would be 2 or 1 yellow, 2 green.
And I actually have the upgrade, and since there's only 2 of them, I'm going to attempt to do this on both of them.
Okay. So I guess it'd be 3 purples then. I'm going to use a dark side point actually. Makes it a little more difficult. So 2 purples and a red.
Lovely. Okay. So that would be 3 down and advantage. Okay. So 2 purples and a red. 3 force. Wow. Not good.
Okay. All right, so I guess it doesn't work, right?
Yeah, I would say basically as he tries to focus his power, he's distracted by the sounds he's hearing in the background of his master in the struggle, and he's unable to bring the focus together.
Yeah, I think the advantage might be like you almost get him, and the stormtrooper kind of almost like lifts a hand to his head to be like, "Oh, what?" But nonetheless, he's able to act how he wants to. And he'll be next, and he will act by trying to shoot you. Actually, he's in close combat. He'll put a little knife. Actually, no, sorry, it's one of you guys.
Okay, me and Nira being behind these crates, I'll turn to Nira and say, I think if I run by them, they'll turn to come after me. There's no way they'll be okay with letting me interfere with their master's fight.
I'll strike them from behind.
Okay, here we go. And I'll roll out around the side and draw my rapier and just shoot by him in a dead sprint, like I'm going for the fight between the master and the student.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, they will indeed. Seeing you go for their boss, they'll both turn, even though they're like engaged with you guys. Like, no. And one of them will run, the other one will just like point a blaster and try and fire at you. Do you have any range defense?
Nope.
Okay. So he misses. I guess maybe he makes you duck for cover. Actually, maybe, yeah. I mean, that seems reasonable. But he's going to miss you anyway.
I'll do like I see like another crate in the hallway when I turn, heading back towards the fight. I'll see him tee up to shoot, and I'll dive over the crate and roll behind it.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, and then Nera.
So I'll run at the guy, breaking into a full sprint now with the vibro glade in one hand, wheel it about my head as I like jump into the air to bring it down across his head while he's aiming to fire another blast at Pon.
Excellent.
Now,
So
does he get a boost for my
Definitely.
diversion?
Yeah.
Hell
So it
yeah.
would be whatever your melee skill is, plus a blue dice, and then 2 purples.
okay. A purple plus 2 blue, you say?
1 blue,
Blue.
and whatever your melee skill is.
My melee skill is 4, 2. Skill melee damage 4, crit 2 for the vibro glaive. Defensive
Uh,
pierce 3.
if you have a look in the list where all the blips are, so there should be like a certain amount of green blips next to the melee skill.
Oh, I see 2 green.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're going to miss him, but it's going to be a pretty hefty advantage. What do you think? Any ideas?
So at the last minute, like he sees me coming and like ducks aside, so it just swooshes down, like shears off his helmet, and now my whole side is exposed to him.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I think you might even slice a piece off of his weapon as you go. He like brings it up to protect himself. But yeah, you're standing there now in front, kind of between the two. And then it's back to the top.
Jay could go again up there, and he'll just bring the business end of his blaster rifle back around to do some work, and he'll square off with. I guess the 2 guys sort of went to face Pon as he ran off, but he'll try to blast one right in the back of his leg, hamstring him with the rifle. We'll probably killing him in the process. Just an advantage. So maybe his mobility is hampered a little bit.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you'll catch him, I guess, a grazing shot to the right knee, and he'll like thunk onto the ground. It'll be a boost to whoever attacks that guy as he's like struggles on the ground, rubbing at his shin. Dante. Or actually, sorry, anyone.
I guess I'll go. So the one that fell down, is that the one I'm engaged with, or the other one?
Probably the other one, since he's the
Okay.
one who ran after. Yeah.
So yeah, after my failed attempt to focus the force against this guy, I will spin around, bringing up my force pike once again to take a swing at him. Yikes.
Yeah, these guys are good. I guess you wouldn't be familiar with all the ongoing jokes that stormtroopers are bad to you. They're just terrifying elite soldiers, and they seem to be acting that way. Like you go for a swing, he manages to bring up a vibro blade, the little knife that he has, and cling, the 2 blades connect. But I guess the advantage will be that he drops his gun to pull out the blade to block it. Okay, who wants to go next?
Seeing that, I'll pick up the gun that he dropped, like dive down to the ground, and so I'm just like laying on my back, looking up with the blaster, and I'll fire up into his belly,
Nice.
point blank. Okay, so there's be a ranged attack.
Yeah, be ranged heavy. I'm going to give you a boost as well because he's definitely not expecting that. You like fling yourself underneath.
And
So
what does
it'll
the boost
be
translates to?
it's the blue dice,
Okay, cool.
and then 2 purples. Okay, so you always have to have a difficulty in combat checks. So just roll 2 purples and see what you get.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. Okay, so it's going to be a hit with a threat. So his blaster does 9 damage, which will pretty much deal with him. Okay, yeah, so you skid underneath, you grab his blaster, and boom, you fire this shot right into his gut, and he falls down onto the ground. And I think he's going to fall on top of you, and that can be the
maybe
threat.
I fall down too because
Okay.
I'm standing over there. That could be the threat.
You fall down as well.
Well, he went down and shot up through him, and I was like shooting down through the guy.
Oh yeah, okay. Maybe the flash of the blaster or whatever like makes you like throw your hands up and you slip as well. So there's like a bit of a pile of chaos on the ground. Okay, so that's him just barely alive. He's like you can see there's like blood pumping from his gut wound that you fired the blaster into, but he's like on top of you like ugh, ugh. And he's going to like take that knife that he's holding and just try and ram it into your shoulder. Let's see. I'm going to give him a setback because he's near death. Okay, no, he doesn't manage it. He pulls the knife and he tries to get to you, but he doesn't quite manage it. He just like thunks it into the ground, and you see like tip of it bend a little bit. This guy's now without weapons totally, and he just like the expressionless mask in your face says "Jedi scum." Then it is Pon.
So Pon will stand up and walk around the edge of the crate now with the rapier out in his hand in like an on guard stance. And as where all the other students perhaps learned from Arn, varying fighting styles that concerned like using the Force in different ways other than combat, Pon just did nothing but physical endurance, physical exercise. He built like a temple of a body, and he's about to use it on the back of this stormtrooper. He slowly just lowers the tip of the rapier, and then he goes for the Shin Cho fighting style, which is absolutely no nonsense. Like the eyes of the hawk, he just sees a beating organ behind that laminate armor, and he fucking thrusts forward, aiming straight for it.
Nice. This is the guy on the dog pile?
I want to go for the guy still standing.
Okay, sweet.
Like, I imagine he's probably, like, looking down in horror at this, like, mess of people, and I'm just going to fucking take the opportunity to dive right in at him.
Definitely.
Okay, so that's 1 maneuver to move, 1 maneuver to engage at -2 strain. Does he have any defense?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, here we go. Ah, shit.
Let's see. He'd still be holding his blaster. Maybe he like slash his arm a little bit and he drops it, or something along those lines.
Does he have any like grenades on him or anything?
Yes, he does. He's a frag grenade on him.
I'd like to strike the grenade and have it roll off of the bandolier on the ground and leave whether or not I triggered it up in the air, just so it's like really dramatic. Like we all just like see the grenade bounce, boom, 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 boom.
Perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
So you like take a slash and you just see it like bing, cling, cling, like roll across the ground. The detonator side is away from you guys, so you can't tell if it's beeping or anything like that. Nice. And then it's back to the top.
So which direction is this grenade rolling in?
Dramatically in your direction, in the direction of the dog pile.
Okay. Well, I guess instinctively he would try to pick it up and toss it right back at the stormtrooper.
All right, sweet. Yep. I don't know what you use for grenades. Gunnery? No.
Light range.
Light range. Okay. So yeah, you can. You want to throw the stormtrooper because he's pretty close to the rest of. He's right next to Pon. He's pretty close to you guys as well.
Okay.
I can deal with this. I'll like on my back roll my head over and see Dante moving towards. I'm just gonna like reach out my one good hand, the one that's not like pressed down to me by this stormtrooper, and my companion reach out my fingers and close my eyes despite like the fray, and just try and fling the grenade up into the air, away from everyone.
Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be force moved, right? So you make a force roll.
That's a white hectagon
So white.
dice.
Yep, you have 1 dice.
And what do I roll alongside that? A difficulty.
You don't. You just need to get the force points.
I see.
Okay, so you've gathered a dark side point, which you can use, but it means you're drawing on like fear, hate, suffering, things of that nature, and it means that at the end of the session you'll have a conflict, and the more conflict you have, the more likely it is you'll slip in terms of morality.
I guess fear makes sense, like breaks for the training if there's a grenade rolling towards you and your friend.
Yep, I think so too.
But I'm fearful. I don't know if I'd have the choice to like mull it over anyway. I think I would just do it, fling it up, use whatever like power the force will give me to like fling that away from myself and my companion.
Perfect. Yeah, so you reach out almost in panic, and it can see the hands curling with fear and anger as you like this grenade just like up into the air, 10, 20, 30, 40 feet, and then it just deep, 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 massive explosion in the air. It rocks the shuttle, which is just nearby, to the point where it nearly like keels over. Everyone standing will be knocked to the ground. And big shockwave of explosion, but no one will take any damage. Okay, you'll have 1 conflict. I'll write that down. Sweet. So the grenade flings up into the air and explodes. Everyone is knocked down onto the ground. Who goes next?
Okay, so as I start moving towards the grenade, it goes flying and explodes and knocks us all to the ground. I get up on my hands and knees and look over to the stormtrooper that's not in the dog pile and try to focus the force once again as I attempt to charm him and say, "This isn't worth it. No one else needs to die. Just drop your weapons." Wow.
Ooh, nice.
So that would be 4 successes and 2 advantage, or whatever combination those light side points I can use to either success or advantage, whichever would be the most advantageous.
Yep. So he says, "This isn't worth it. No one else needs to die. I'm just going to drop this and walk away." And he drops his blaster and begins moving away from the fight.
I kind of get a half smile on my lips as I then collapse on the ground, clutching my belly as my blood pumps out onto the ground.
Nice. Okay, who goes next?
No, go ahead, Justin.
Maybe not even getting up, just crawling over to Dante, seeing that, just checking out his wounds, seeing how far along he is, and bringing the rifle up. Is there any moving stormtroopers still, or they've given up and they're going?
Only one of them is. Well, that affects 1 person, right, Dennis?
Well, it can affect 2, but I was just focusing on the 1.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So there is one still on Nairway, with a broken vibroblade in his hand.
Well, I guess if I'm like pretty much right there, I wouldn't go for the to gun him down, but I'd just throw myself on him and try to tackle him, like a brawl.
Yep.
Strike him. All right.
You can have a boost because this guy. Oh, sorry, you can roll it now if you like, because this guy is near death.
There we go. So
Okay.
just 3 advantage. Maybe he can't use his vibroblade for a turn.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe you have him like a headlock or something like that.
I know one thing you can do with 3 advantage for sure is ensnare with your hands, so you can like put them in some kind of wrapped up move
Oh yeah, I'll lock it up.
Perfect. Yeah. So you grab him as a sort of full Nelson or something like that, and he's just like, "Let go of me, Jedi scum." On his turn, God, he's really out of options. He's no weapons, and he's held by someone much stronger than him. Let's see. I think what he'll do is he'll reach for the grenade at his belt. And he's just like, "God damn you, Jedi!" And he just like reaches down. You can see his hand going for the grenade, and he just like beep presses the button. Says, "I'll see you all in hell." And then it's Pawn.
I'd like to use my enhanced brawl with my left hand and like spin around and grab him by the wrist and snap it and push the button back down on the grenade.
Nice.
What would the difficulty on this feat be?
Let's see. He's already held by Chey, so I think I'll just call it 2.
Okay.
It would have been harder if he was like able to control himself properly, but
Since I have the maneuver, I will aim my grab as well.
nice. Wow.
So those 2, though, I can use as successes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's 2 successes.
Yeah, as you say, he's like there struggling, and you just like come over calmly and just like bend his hand down. He's like, "No, no, no!" Kick, and the grenade will stop beeping.
And I'll say, "Stop, friend. The fight is clearly over."
He just looks at you and he says, "My master, he'll kill all of you."
I'll just shake my head and I'll say, "Death is not the answer."
Yeah, there's no response. He just is struggling to get out of this lock, intent on harming you.
I would think if it goes like back to the top of initiative, I would think that the guy that has him in the fucking full Nelson would disable him personally.
I was going to ask about, should I sleeper hold him after this?
Can I slink
Yeah.
out from underneath him?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, at this stage, the combat's over. He's not going to be able to affect you guys much. Just like narratively, he seems like brainwash intent on killing you guys.
Yeah, let's disarm him. Take his grenade.
Chey's also, he's going to like put one of these combat knives into his belt. I'll write out the stats for it later.
Yeah.
If we get him disabled, I want to remove the helmet and look at his face.
Yep. He's human. He's got very sort of square jaw, shaved head, and he's got a number tattooed on his forehead on the left-hand side.
Ooh. Yeah, that would be really interesting, I'd say. Hey, Nero, look at this. He's got some kind of branding mark on him.
She'll look at him with pity. But I'm not sure what she'd say. She's thinking of the master, like she's kind of, her attention is torn. Can I make a roll to see if I know anything about that?
Yeah, I think it would be
Common? Or is
core
it
worlds.
peculiar?
Probably. It'd probably be knowledge core worlds to know stuff about the Empire, I would say.
Okay. So 3 green and a black sphere.
So that means you get rid of setbacks. So if you had a setback, you
Okay.
would remove that from it. Yeah, you think this is probably his name in the Empire? Like a lot of the troopers, or actually all troopers, don't have names. They're just given numbers that they're known by, which would be, I guess, pretty upsetting to you, since, yeah, he's just like a drone to some extent.
Human droid.
Yeah.
I might make that remark softly.
Pato like shake his head in disbelief and say, "We got to get out of here." And
Can we
he'll,
still
like,
hear the
come to
lightsaber
realization,
battle?
"We got to get out of here."
Yeah, they still are. Yeah, you can still hear like in the background.
Nero looked down at her hand, see the grenade in one and the blaster in the other, and then up to you guys. Like you can see the conflict. in her face.
I would want to help the master, but I wish not to disobey him.
Yeah, Pawn would be really reluctant to admit the following, but he would say, "There's more to the Force than strength. The Master is wise. If he says we should flee, we should flee."
She'll nod at that, and then seeing Dante in the background, like heavily bleeding, rush over to him, try and assist him to get the hell out of here. Can I use my force heal?
Yes, you can. Let's see. So you just roll force die. Yep. So you can heal up to your intellect. Whatever your intellect is.
My intellect is 3, so heal 3 to Dante. You're
So
right,
as you-
Dante's wounded. We must away, and I'll like calm myself and try and infuse him with the force.
How bad is Dante wounded?
I was down to half, but I'm only 3 from full now with that healing. So you'll see him as she helps him to his feet, and he feels the healing energies move over him. The pain will lessen in his features as the bleeding slows. Yes, we must hurry.
Yes, you guys can move towards the speeders and get onto them. And as you do, you see like with a sort of noise, the master is like pushed kind of in your sight. So he's like on your left, maybe 60 feet away. He's like pushed out and he's like battered and bruised with a couple of cuts on him. And his lightsaber goes out as he like lies there on the ground, but he's struggling to get back up. And he does so, and he just stands with the lightsaber unlit as this shadowy figure approaches him. He turns to look at you and he says, "Go."
And biting his lip, Chey bears down on the throttle and tries to get the swoop bike to kick into gear.
Do we have any other vehicles? Do we have like an air car, like an air speeder or anything like that? Maybe even a land speeder?
You would have, you probably have a land speeder here, I'd say.
I'd be willing to spend a destiny point on it if it's kind of like up in the air.
Yeah.
Sweet, like I'll say, "I'll drive the land speeder," and I'll run over and jump over the back seat and like I'm getting into like a Corvette or something. "Come on, get in, I got this."
And Chey will bring the swoop bike down from a throttle and let it die down. And yeah, he'll run over and hop into the back seat.
Ah, shoot, you could have stayed on that, Chey.
And but he's gonna take his rifle off his back, and he's like, "No, I actually think it would be better if I sit back here." And he's like, got his gun at the ready.
The last couple days when Master gave us recreational time, I snuck out here and was reading the manual for this. I think I've mastered it.
I saw you on the swoop bikes. We'll be fine.
How many swoop bikes are there, Lloyd?
Enough for one for each of you.
And I can see we're all going to get into the land speeder, driven by Pond, to make our escape. That grenade that I pilfered off 142.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over and like kind of put it in the, I don't know, the engine or like the machinations of this swoop bike, so that such that if it were to be like turned on or used, it would like detonate the grenade to like kind of seal our escape.
Great idea.
Is that skullduggery?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
I think
what
so.
I'd say.
Okay, I'm pretty decent at that. I've got a black sphere, a yellow hectagon, and 3 greens.
Yeah, so you roll a yellow and 3 greens. The black is like because it's a career skill.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, so you have a yellow and 3 greens. Difficulty will be 2. Oh yeah, you fucking nailed it. Yeah. So yeah, you still nail it. Yeah. Describe it.
So like while we're running, I'll be like just standing there, like see the master saying go, go, and I just want to stay. I like think we can do it. I know, like in my own naivety, that I can. I think I can. But instead, I hear the companions yelling out, and it cuts over the din of my turmoil. So I'll run over to this swoop bikes and just duck down and put it up underneath it and dink, 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 and then sprint and dive over Chey as he's like readying his rifle at the back of the land speeder.
Yeah, perfect. You guys get in, and you see this guy like approaching. He's dragging the blade of his lightsaber across the ground, like shooting up sparks and stuff as it goes. And he approaches the master, and the master says, "It doesn't have to be like this. You can still come back to the light. I know it's in you." And the shadowy figure just lifts up the saber and slices him down.
So like as the saber like cuts him, you see like the back of the land speeder just flare. And we like shoot forward, and I'm like, okay, this is what they call driving the Sorosubway, I guess. And I'm like trying to mimic the moves I've seen in the manual.
Yep.
When Dante sees the final strike, he yells out and tries to jump from the land speeder.
Oh shit, I didn't know we could like see it right in front of us. I thought you were just narrating a separate scene.
Yeah, no, you guys. Yeah, I can imagine you guys are like getting the fuck out of there. And it's literally as you like are ready to go that the last strike.
I'm screaming no and just firing blindly, uselessly with my blaster. No!
As Chey's heart sags, looking down the rails of his rifle, he hesitates, not firing, and seeing his friend climb over him, trying to run out and having his emotion take over fully, Chey would try to reach out and grab him to restrain him from falling.
Yeah, I think Dante, you'd probably let yourself be grabbed to some extent.
One athletics. I'm only devoting one hand to it.
No, I think it's fine. I think just narratively, like Dante goes for you.
Yeah, because he wouldn't really see, Chey grabbing for him, and he really wouldn't have the strength to resist. And when he grabs him, pulls him down, he would just kind of fall on the floor, hunched over, and the tears begin to stain his cheeks. Yeah,
as you fire, this figure just like blocks the shots with the lightsaber.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, and they like fire into the building, and he just looks like menacingly as you go. Let's see, I have a picture of him actually. This gentleman here. Yeah, he just blocks all these shots into the building, and then he will turn off his lightsaber and begin walking through one of the swoop bikes as you guys. Sorry?
Can I, with my destiny point, I'm not really sure how that works, but like I was thinking, like as like my rifle, my blaster like clicks over uselessly, like out of ammo now or cells, like the realization dawns on me in this like almost cruel, like kind of smile. That's not the right word, but yeah, like a realization dawns on her as she like looks to the swoop bikes. And how far away are they from him?
They are, a couple of like 20 feet or so away. He's walking slowly in their direction.
I'll just like stand up as like the speeder's cruising away from him and like trying to gain his attention, like trying to stall him.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks. He just exudes confidence and cruelty as he goes, and he's moving towards the swoop bikes.
Can I use a destiny point to like explode it?
Yes.
I'll do so. So my eyes level as like the beeps come closer together. I like just staring at this guy as like he's dwindling in my visage, just like zooming away from there.
Yeah. So yeah, you see as he approaches the swoop bike, just like confident, swaggering. The last second, beep beep beep, massive explosion that takes the other swoop bikes with it. And he is like blown way out of your vision with this huge explosion that rocks the building as well, the temple itself. You can see one of the supports like crack, and it begins to fall apart.
Yeah, and then tears will start falling from her like glaring red eyes.
Yeah. All right. So, you guys are in the land speeder. Where are you going to go?
There's a spaceport back in town.
Not in Mayron's town. No, you'd have to go to. It'd be further to go to an actual spaceport.
But
People don't land. There's like not even like a shadow port or anything private.
But
Like
there'd probably be, yeah, maybe like one or two little spacecraft there.
the thing about going to the other place is that we would like lose all of the credit and goodwill we have. If we go there, we stand a fighting chance of convincing someone to get us off the planet.
did Master say he had a ship in Mayertown or near Mayron's town?
Near it, in the woods near it.
All right. Well, definitely, we should be on good graces with the townsfolk, and I know the barkeep. He spoke highly of Master.
Okay, is that where you want to go?
I think that yeah, that sounds like a good idea to Chey. He would definitely have mentioned that.
Yeah,
Yes,
so you guys,
sounds like a good idea.
you crest that little hill that you did got the sweet air on last time, and you can see the temple burning behind you as the force music plays. As you ride towards Mayron's town. It'll take you a short amount of time to get near it. And as you do, as you kind of crest the hill, looking down onto it, you can see that there are Imperials there. There are several stormtroopers walking through the town, pointing glasses at people, like pulling things out of people's houses and whatnot. And there's a walker as well, this weird sort of chicken-legged walker that you'd never have seen before. It's a big robot-looking thing.
Maybe we better not enter. It doesn't seem like there's a way out in there.
Yeah, I think the walker is like way too big of a threat. You said how far from this place is the other more major port?
Couple of hours on the speeder.
Did the master give us any kind of directions to where his ship was at?
Yeah, he said east of Mayron's. I'm thinking about that. You would get like a shudder as you remember that creature that was in the woods to the east also.
Yeah, so having begun ready to suggest they go for the master ship, instead he just stays silent as he picks himself up and slides into the seat and casts his gaze downward.
Yeah, Pon would be like externalizing his thoughts on like this ship or try to buy another ship, and he's thinking if they knew where the master was, they might have the master's transponder codes, they might know the make of his ship. He's just thinking it would be like a surefire way to get tracked. In Pon's mind, anyways, he'd say we need something discreet.
So we need a smuggler.
Pon will, you'll see him perk up a little bit, and he'll say, I don't know about that. Maybe an honest fringer.
I guess where we'll find more people, we'll find more chances to find someone who suits that skill set. an honest importer.
I can see like a twinkle in Chey's eye, and the twinkle reads, "I'ma find me a smuggler." And Pon will just shake his head. I don't like this, and I'll take off towards the spaceport.
All right. Yeah, you guys whiz past Mayron's town, skirting around the edge, and you can see at the edge of the forest a bunch of those cat creatures that you had encountered last time. They're kind of looking, but not moving towards or anything. But they're kind of, there's like 5 or 6 of them all sitting together, just like watching as you go by. Definitely like an intelligence there beyond what the cat creatures would have. You swoop by onwards through like the forests and the plains. It would take you maybe 3 or 4 hours constant travel on the land speeder before you would come to let's see, what would it be called? Redemption. Little town of Redemption, and yeah, it's pretty small, but it's got a spaceport at the very least. Master Arn would have told you many times not to go there, that it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy where only the shadiest people would hang out, the kind of people who come out to wild space to avoid the law. But nonetheless, you would begin to descend into this lovely little town.
Pon will turn to Chey and say, Master Arn said that the people here will suck you drier than a Minoc. We should be very careful.
And when you say that, Chey, he gets up like something's bothering him the way he's sitting there. And but he now that we're entering into a populated sort of zone, he doesn't hold the rifle at ready anymore. It's slunk over his back. And I'll say, I could use a glass of Minoc milk.
Yeah, so you enter into the town. There's a couple of cantinas and stuff like that. You can see several warehouses and stuff. Some semblance of like what probably is a government building, or the closest thing they have to a government here, like a sheriff's office, something like that. But yeah, it's pretty basic.
Yeah, once I'll like maneuver it around and kind of like land it next to maybe a trough or something some animals are tied up to. A couple droids shopping by it. And I'll turn over the back seat and I'll say, hey guys, maybe we should sell the speeder to get money to hire this Fringer. What do you think?
Sounds reasonable. We've got no need of it any longer.
And I'll like look around. Don't reckon there's a junk shop or something like that, do you?
I'll look around at the place and wonder what part of it isn't a junk shop.
Yeah, you can definitely find something like that.
I've got a streetwise, so I might be able to. Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'll crack my knuckles and like jump out of it and go, okay. And just the first individual that walks by, I don't care what he looks like or how he's dressed, I'll go, pardon me, sir, would you like to buy a land speeder?
It's this Rhodian dude, and he walks by and goes, Tutamana Huina! Which I guess you could speak most languages, right? It's kind of assumed. He says, no, I don't want to buy a land speeder. What?
Do you know someone who would like to purchase a land speeder? And I'm like completely earnest, not like a hint of irony.
You have a strange way of talking, friend.
It's probably because I grew up in the monastery, and I'll scratch the back of my head.
His eyes will widen. He'll step back. He'll say, yeah, you could talk to, I guess you could talk to Karis. He's got a junk shop. Yeah, talk to Karis, he says as he backs away.
Yeah, where's your friend Karis? And I'll like raise my voice as he's backing up.
Yeah, over there, around the corner there. And he points.
I'll turn around and look back at the land speeder, and I'll give those guys the okay sign.
Dante will be running the palm down the front of the space.
So I'll start like walking towards the general direction of this junk shop, and kind of like motion for those guys to come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dante will be already moving to catch up, and he'll like touch him on the shoulder lightly and say, "Maybe you should let me do the talking."
He'll like rub the back of his neck again and say, "Oh yeah, sure. Just the people here are really friendly."
Dante will pat him on the back and then walk a few steps ahead of him towards the shop.
Yeah, you enter into this junk shop. You can see like broken down droids, like all sorts of equipment all over the place, like paneling and stuff for starships, everything you can think of. Um, and I mean, there's some people walking around looking at things, picking up bits of scrap metal and weird aliens like weighing them in their hands. Um, and yeah, eventually you come to like a sort of circular, almost like a bar at the middle, where you'll see this basilisk scratching the back of his head with one of his arms and building something in front of him with his two of his remaining arms. And you'll see you come in. Oh. Well, customers, excellent.
Yes,
What can I help you with?
good day to you, sir. I have a once in a lifetime opportunity. We have a land speeder for sale, and someone said that you might be interested in purchasing it.
If the price is right, maybe.
Well, in your practiced and well-experienced mind, what would be the right price?
Well, I'll have to see it, of course, decide what it's worth. Takes one of his like gross hands and rubs it across his hideous like jowls. I'll have to have a look.
Oh, of course. By chance, would you have an opportunity now, and I can take you to it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. And he shouts something in this guttural alien language to some dude who's like fixing a droid, and he says, "Yeah, okay, okay." And he goes behind the little bar thing at the center. He's, "Show me," and he lumbers out from behind the thing and follows you.
Right this way, good sir. And not too hurriedly, but with some urgency, Dante would lead him outside and towards the speeder. When he gets there, he's begins using the cuff of his robe to kind of dust at some scuffs as he waves his arm dramatically towards the speeder.
He rubs his face again with his hand. Looks like a hunk of junk to me.
Pawn would give him his ignorant narrative as he's like standing behind it, and he'd say, "Well, the value out of the book is 4,500 credits, but I agree, this is pretty bad. It'd be worth considerably less."
Dante would just feel the corner of his eye twitch as he glances to Pan. He'll shift his gaze to Chey and kind of nod his head towards Pan as he turns back to the gentleman and kind of stepping in front of him, blocking the line of sight to Pan. So, what do you think would be a fair price for this fine machine?
Well, it's got a lot of scuffs. I guess it's got no fuel either. You mind if I take a look under the hood?
No, of course. Be my guest. And yeah, it might be a little low on fuel. We just took it for a test drive. We wanted to be sure that it would function and be in good condition before we tried selling it, of course. And of course, this whole time, Dante's just laying on the charm.
Yep. He walks around and he lifts the front of the speeder and he looks and there's like a bit of steam and stuff coming off the engine. Better than I thought. Well, as your friend said, worth considerably less. I could give you 2,000 credits, maybe.
Well, I do have to admit that is not a outrageous offer. However, circumstances dictate that we have a little more. Perhaps you'd be willing to go as high as 3,000?
Maybe if I didn't think that you were in quite a hurry. I think you need these credits now.
Pon will say, "Yes, please." Like,
At that, Dante will lift a hand and said, "That is true to a certain extent, but that's why I'm willing to take considerably less than what it's worth. However, a fair deal is a fair deal, and I'm going to try to use my negotiation on him."
Yeah, sure. I'm going to use
Well,
a dark side point.
So it would be one
So it'd
purple,
be-
one red.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay, well, I got a success, and I'm not going to use that dark side point to
Okay.
do any kind of influence, but I did get a success.
He says, well, I guess you wearing the robes are okay mostly, and Master Arn did help me once, and I guess I could go to 3,000 credits.
Dante will smile and offer his hand.
Yeah, he wipes his hand on his gross butt, and then he extends it to you. We have a deal.
It takes a considerable effort for Dante to keep his features passive, thinking that the hand was probably cleaner before than it is now. But he doesn't shy away. He gives a hearty handshake and a friendly slap to the shoulder of the arm that he's shaking.
Pon will shoot a grin at Nira and say, "See, honesty's always the best policy."
She nods.
And Dante's thinking, except when it comes to negotiations. But he doesn't say that out loud.
He says, yes, this will do. Yes. I'll have my droids come and take it. Follow me, I'll give you the money. So he lumbers back into his little shop, and he reaches behind the little bar sort of counter thing that he has, and he pulls out a cred stick, presses some buttons on it. Here you go, 3,000 credits.
Your shrewdness is only outweighed by your generosity, sir. I appreciate your business.
Raises an eyebrow, wondering if that's a compliment, and he says, thank you. Well, anything else I can do for you?
Well, since you were kind enough to offer, by any chance, could you point us in the right direction of how we may procure some transportation off planet?
Well, there's all manner of shitbirds living in this little town. You might try the moldy Minoc. You could try the yellow Rancor, both filled with opportunistic travelers.
Yes, but perchance, do you know any that are more of your quality of a gentleman that would strike us a fair deal and that could be trusted?
And he leans in close and he says, I'll tell you honestly, I think you're going to have a hard time finding anyone who wants to bring you off-world. I don't know if you noticed, but the Imperials have landed here.
I believe we may have noticed that, and he works to keep the twisted fear and anger from his features.
With the Imperials here, you know that you are extremely valuable. I would maybe get a change of clothes and maybe keep that one from talking.
Dante will glance over his shoulder immediately at Pawn, knowing who he's referring to.
I do know one man who might give you a lift off world. You'll have to pay him, but he's dependable, or has been so far.
Any aid that you could provide in this would be appreciated more than I can convey.
His name is Aktura. He's a Togruta. You'll find him in the Minok.
Dante nods and thank you again. And if our paths should ever cross again, I owe you one.
He leans in real close and he says, "May the force be with you."
At that, Dante is not able to control his features as a look of surprise comes over his face. An eyebrow slightly raises as he nods and says, "And with you."
And then his voice raises and he says, "Now get out of here. You've already robbed me enough."
Dante will kind of grin and nod and raise his hands. Fine, fine, we're going. As he turns around and exits the shop.
So we're off to the Minok then. To find this Aktura.
The Moldy Minok is one of several kind of rough cantinas in this little town.
Pon would be a little bit inquisitive with Dante, and he'd say, 3,000 was a lot of money. Way more than that was worth. It's odd generosity.
Well, I find it's just how you talk to people, you know?
Is it really right, though, for us to accept that amount?
Well, how is it wrong?
Because we're Jedi. We're in tune with forces that they aren't. We know the value of this thing. Should we impede their lives like this?
Well, isn't he a merchant? Doesn't he deal in these goods? His eye should be better than ours for the condition of the vehicle.
But we are of a completely different cut. We're the guardians of these people, not their exploiteers.
Well, it's kind of hard to be the guardian of anybody if you're dead. A little bit of frustration coming to his voice as he starts moving faster.
Yeah, Pon will weigh it a bit as he's following and say, there may be some truth to what you say, but like Arn always said, it's a slippery slope. And I'll let like a slippery slope kind of like sink its teeth in.
Dante will turn, almost lifting a hand to strike him as he gets in his face and lowers his voice, but it still comes out, I guess, like a whispered yell. The master is dead. He told us to leave. I'm trying to get us out of here. You could help or be quiet.
And he'll just shake his head completely, like in the Twilight Zone. He'll say, "I am trying to help you, Dante. Help you in the only way that matters."
The only thing that matters right now is getting off this planet before we're killed. Then he'll turn around and continue walking.
Pon will just like watch his silhouette kind of like move away into the distance, and he'll think, who is protecting who? And he'll grasp the hilt of his rapier tightly and slowly walk behind.
Sweet. You guys move your way towards the Moldy Minok. It's got this like ratty neon sign outside, and the like dusty ground is like kicking up dust as you move towards it. And yeah, you can enter in from bright sun into like almost total darkness, thick, acrid smoke, and stink of like spilled drinks everywhere, and there's like a hum of conversation. Playing the same cantina music you heard in the only other cantina you've ever been to. It must be a favorite. And yeah, you can see all around there's just like grim faced aliens and men just like sitting around talking in hushed tones, people playing games, gambling. And at the center, a circular bar with human bartender.
When they first walk in, Dante can't stop himself from lifting his arm, using the sleeve to block his nose as his breath catches, and he kind of gives a cough at the aromas that are filling his senses. And having been quite agitated when he first comes in, he kind of just stops, looking over the room, glancing around before he kind of sets himself and then starts heading towards the bar.
Yeah, the bartender will like nod his head upwards. We're gonna get you.
A round of whatever you have on tap for me and my friends, and perhaps you can point me in the direction of Arturo.
Yeah, all right, hang on a second. So he goes and he pours a bunch of beers, whatever, and he puts them up on the counter in front of you. Yeah, Arturo, he's over there. And you can see at this table, there's a Togruta and then three others, men, sitting around this table, playing cards. He says, it'll be 4 credits.
So yeah, he'll go ahead and pay the 4 credits. He'll grab his drink and head over to the table.
And Chey will grab a drink as well and thank the barkeep. And he'll make sure to give it a solid smell before he imbibes any of it.
Yeah, we'll just keep a hood up and take the drink, follow over.
Yeah, you're getting some looks from people. Definitely, you notice as you're walking through. There's a couple of people will like look from tables and kind of you'll see them like look and then turn to someone next to them and say something into their ear. More than one person does that, definitely.
Upon knowing the dangers of a situation like this from his training, I'm going to let those guys go to the actual meet, and I'm going to stay at the bar and kind of get a vantage on them to make sure no one's biting at their back.
Yeah, nice.
When we get to the table, I'm going to set the drink down in front of the Togruta. Hello, my friend. At long last we meet.
You're not a friend of mine.
Oh, well, it is true we haven't met, but that doesn't mean we can't be friends. After all, I have brought you a drink.
Yeah. He looks at you like this is a totally alien situation, like someone brings him a drink for free. Okay.
I was hoping that you might have a moment or two to speak with us. A mutual acquaintance suggested I speak with you.
Yeah, hang on a second. And he's like playing this game, and this man opposite him puts down his hand, and it's a 23, and he just goes, "Oh, god damn it!" And the man just like grabs all of the credits or all the chips on the table and like just like brings them towards me, leans back and like dusts his hand, and he says, "Fine, looks like I'm out." And he'll stand up and follow you where you want to go.
So I'll just try to find any empty space there is, from prying ears as best as I can.
Yeah. Pawn, you'll see that there's a Trandoshan sitting at the table behind the one that he was playing at, and the Trandoshan is like turning to watch as the Togruta moves away.
I'm going to get up and move. Perhaps there's like a corner seat or something so I can get behind the Trandoshan.
Yeah, definitely. You'll sit down next to a what is it? Next to a Twi'lek, a male Twi'lek, hideous male Twi'lek, and he just looks to you like,
I'll smile at him and say, "What time of day is it? Is this mid-afternoon or something?"
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say, Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
And he'll smile and like lean back in the chair. Do you come here much?
Perfect.
He looks at you and like raises an eyebrow, like, whenever I'm in this sector, yeah.
And he'll get like a surprised look at his face. Oh, a businessman shipping. He can shake his head.
He'll lean back and he says, "You ask an awful lot of questions, my friend."
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit too inquisitive sometimes. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't come here very often.
No, it seems you don't.
And the entire time, I like have my eyes just locked on the
Yeah.
Trandoshan.
Uh, yeah, he'll look to you and be like, so why are you here now if you don't come here often?
Me and a few of my friends are looking for transport off of this rock.
Ah, hmm. You paying?
Most certainly.
How much are you paying?
Because Pon has like no sense of being like a shrewd steward, he'll just say, um, 3,000 credits.
He'll sit back and he'll steeple his fingers. Well, maybe we can make that work. Yeah, and that's when Dante, you find a little secluded corner where you can chat with the Togruta. What is this? Why have you sought me out? I don't understand.
Well, we find ourselves in need of transport off planet, and there's certain back situations going on that we need to do this quickly and quietly. And someone said that you could be trusted and may be able to help us.
He kind of like looks at the ground. He scrunches his eyebrow. He says, "Jaco, that fuck, the basilisk."
Yes, that would be him.
Uh, uh, I do owe him a favor. Do you have to wear those goddamn robes? Do you know that they're Imperials looking for you?
Yes, it would be better if we could change. However, we left our place in quite a hurry and we're not able to grab anything else.
Huh. So where do you want to go?
At that question, he hadn't even considered that. His focus just being getting off planet, and he'll glance to Chey and Nira.
Yeah, she's stricken. She hasn't been thinking of that. Just trying the same as you, trying to get off here. Not necessarily concerned with where. She has like a good knowledge of the core worlds from her studies. Other than that, she doesn't know where to cling to next.
And Chey would he'd look up from the glass of the alien drink that sits in front of him, and he'd say, "I think the most prominent things to our travel would be far and fast. But as to where, yes, I would draw a blank as well."
Well, perhaps we could negotiate for off-planet, and then once we are away, we could consider options then. I don't know how far 1,500 credits would get us.
Barely get you into space, he says.
Well, into space then, and then we can negotiate from there.
There's quite a risk in bringing you.
That is true. However, the quicker that we are away, the safer our further negotiations would be.
And I'd add, we're paying you to avoid the Imperials, which is what everybody kind of feels like doing right now.
Yeah. I suppose I could try and get you off road, but what if the Imperials want to board my ship? What if they want to search me? What if they want to scan me for life forms? What then? What if I'm found harboring you?
Well, I would hope that you would have some ability to avoid that kind of thing, but if it should come to that, I give you my word that I will say that you were forced, tricked, or coerced into doing it. I give you my word.
You give me your word. He just like spends a good 30 seconds laughing about it.
At that, Dante's features would darken slightly, but he'd take a low breath and kind of push it away as he leans in and lowers his voice. And it wouldn't really be deception. I guess he'll try to use his charm.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say, the value of my word is the most precious thing that I have. I would appreciate it if you did not look at it so lightly.
Well, I can see that's important to you. Damn it. I suppose I could take you. You have to change out of those stupid robes, though.
Perhaps you could assist us in procuring some alternative form of dress.
You'd have to pay me.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. Let's
We
see.
appreciate your kindness, but I understand that it is not for free.
Yeah, I mean, kindness, it's money. Okay, if I can, he's like talking to himself now about trying to get a cargo that he can bring with him to try and make some money out of this situation beyond just smuggling Jedi off the planet. And you can see now, upon the Trandoshan brings like a little communicator to his lips.
I spring. Well, what I do is, as I see him lift the communicator up, the Twi'lek is talking to me, and I just go, "One moment, friend," and I will flip out of that seat and just bash this Trandoshan in the back of the head with an elbow. Brawl attack.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Elbow up the top rope.
What's the difficulty?
Just 2. You can have a boost because he's not expecting that at all.
Alright, I'm going to do it as an enhanced brawl as well. Bam.
I don't think anybody's expecting this.
No.
Okay, let me make sure I got this right. Swing! I'm putting, let's see, is hand-to-hand, is that a 5, I think, for crit?
I'm
5
not sure.
advantage for crit? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
probably.
Yep, all those are going into crit.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
5.
Yep, so I'm going to strike him right now for... so it does 5 points of damage, but I'm critting him.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you'll knock him unconscious.
Alright, and as I do, I will just turn off the communicator immediately. And, like, rising up with it in my hand, I'll just turn to the bar and then turn to the tables, and I'll say, Jedi business, go about your drinks.
Dante will curse under his breath and turn back and say, I think perhaps we should go.
So good. Yeah, so a bunch of dudes at the table, like they like pull back their seats and the hands go to blasters. But by the time they've put their hands in the blasters, the Trandoshan's already unconscious, and you've said your little line. Like you've moved like a blur, and they don't even know how it's possible. When you say Jedi business, a bunch of them just like put the blasters back into their pockets and just like put their hands on the table and sit back. The Togruta says, "Yes, we need to go right now. Grab your friend." And he begins moving through the bar towards the door.
I'll say to the Twi'lek, "It was nice to meet you, sir," as I'm getting pulled out of the...
Yeah, he's like shaking his head in disbelief, like, what the fuck happened? Yeah, the Togruta would lead you like out of the bar, and he would point, and he would say, "This ship, that freighter, get on it immediately. Hide. I'm going to go get what I need to get, and then we're going to go."
It'll be as you
And
say.
a change of garb.
That's what I'm getting.
Oh, cool.
When Chey would go for the ship quickly. He'd dart straight for it, I think. He would keep an eye out for any Imperials holding pictures or wanted signs or anything, but...
Yeah. Yeah, you'd see, like, as you're leaving the bar, you can see sort of a commotion inside, like, and a bunch of people are taking out, like, communicators and stuff, like, all over the place as you guys are, like, pulled from the bar. And Pon, like, sticks his head back in to wave to the Twi'lek, like, bye!
As the guy runs off, Dante turns to Nira. "Shadow us. Make sure that we're not followed. Pon, scout ahead. Make sure no one's waiting for us at the ship."
He'll say, "I'm on it," and I'll jet forward.
Yep, I'll slink off, kiting the party, sticking to the shadows or cover where I can, employing my stealth.
As you go to take the lead, Pon, Chey will say, "I don't see any Imperials right here."
Let's hope it stays that way. Keep your blaster ready.
And with that, he will take it off his back then, but hold it low.
And given the circumstances, Dante will try to look inconspicuous as possible, and begin making his way towards the ship as well.
Nice. Yeah, so you guys start moving your way towards the ship, Naraway kind of slinking behind, moving from cover to cover, just like keeping an eye out. And as you are standing like near the exit to the bar, you see the little Twi'lek that he had been talking to come out. He lifts the communicator to his hand, or to his lips, and he says, "The Jedi, they're in redemption."
I think I'll still stick to the shadows if if he's already said that. If it's too late to stop him, I figure there are others also. I'll just kind of note his face.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, you can see him kind of looking, darting side to side. He doesn't see you, and then he slinks back inside. So you guys make your way to the ship. It is a sort of a freighter, pretty big. And as you approach, the doors open, and there's a little protocol droid. He says, "Oh, hello, new guests, welcome."
I'll just run by him and say, "No time right now. Meet you later."
Yes, you stand tensely waiting on the ship, and then Naraway, since you're tailing, you would see the Togruta pretty much gunning it for the ship, like running through the streets.
Towards our ship.
Yeah. As a
Togruta that got knocked out, is the Togruta the one who got knocked out? Sorry, or the one who's working with us?
He's the one who's working with you.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So he's running towards you. He's got like a bundle of clothes and stuff in his hands, and he's just like, as like a TIE fighter overhead, just whizzes over the settlement. He runs into the ship, and he throws the bundle of clothes at whoever would be in front.
That could be me. Yeah, I'd struggle to catch it, drop my blaster rifle to one hand. But yeah, I'll grab him.
Yeah, he says, "Does anyone know how to man a gun? I recommend you do so."
Well, I could hop in one of those, and his eyes widen. And he
Dante will grab the armful of clothes that he had and drop them on the deck as he begins stripping off his robes as quick as he can.
Yeah, Pon will start to get undressed too, and when he lifts up his shirt, and like undoes the robe, he pulls out the holocron and just like holds it for the first time like out in the open for Dante to see.
Being midway, frantically stripping his clothes off, he'll stop. His eyes widen slightly as he moves forward and as if to take it. If Pon doesn't interfere or stop him.
No, Pano let him take it. He'll say, I suspected for a while Master had this. I never got up the nerve to ask him, but I just couldn't let it fall into the hands of the dark side.
Dante will kind of look it over and examine it, running his fingers over it with a bit of reverence, and then he'll hand it back. Well done. Keep it safe.
Without Master Arn, this might be the only instruction we get for quite a while.
Yeah, when you take it back, Pawn, and you say that, the sides will, it'll open up and it'll float before you, and it'll say, "Do not worry, I will guide you."
Like Pawn's face will just light up in like pure shock, and I'll like fall down to a knee and say, "Master, who are you?"
There's no response for a while. It just kind of floats in the air, and it says, "I have taught Master Arn for a long time, and I will teach you also."
And Pawn will say, "Master Arn is now dead."
Dead. He's returned to the Force. Death is temporary. A step in a journey.
Pawn will say, "We're in a very tight situation, Master. Perhaps later, when there's more time for formalities."
Of course. And it'll just close without any ceremony.
Yeah, I'll like let it fall into my hands like I'm receiving the Holy Grail.
And Pawn won't have time, or sorry, Chey won't have time for the full costume change right now. He'll just tear off the robe part of what he's wearing and remain in his primitive pantaloons as he then searches out the gunwale.
Yep. Yeah, so you kind of run through this ship. You can see there's quarters and stuff. It's pretty big for one dude. It's like a proper freighter. And you can see there is like cargo. There's a big cargo bay with like crates and stuff in there and different kinds of cargo and stuff already in there. As you're running around looking desperately for this thing, you find a ladder and you climb to the top and you find like a bubble kind of that you can sit in that has a laser cannon.
And yeah, eagerly Chey will slide into the seat and he'll buckle up.
Says the Takruda will say over the comms, "Does anyone else know how to fly? I could do a co-pilot."
I'll just nod and reply yes, and then make my way towards the cockpit.
Yeah, sweet. It's similarly, it's kind of like a bubble sort of construction. You can see there's just like buttons and switches everywhere, just like over in the ceiling and in front of you. And there's a seat right next to him that you can hop into.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Okay, this is going to be bumpy." He calls out over the comms, and he presses a bunch of buttons, and you can hear like as engines begin to take or begin to activate, and up into the air and up towards the atmosphere quick as possible. You on the guns, you would see like on your targeting that there is enemy craft incoming.
All right, yeah. Even if they're not in range yet, I'll just get the guns whirring around and making sure they're all got lots of fuel in the tank.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as Nira runs away to her co-pilot position, Dante releases a heavy breath, not realizing he was holding it. And once she's out of sight, he quickly finishes undressing and dressing in the new clothes.
Yep. They're classic smuggler clothes, like a white shirt and a black vest, some jeans, that kind of thing. And you guys can get dressed, and well, except for Che, I guess, who's busily swinging the gun around. You can see there's two ties, like moving information towards you guys. So I think we're going to roll initiative. So you can roll cool.
Cool.
Did mine show up?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, I'm gonna just restart the roller and see if that helps.
Oh wow, nice.
Oh,
Okay, so one of you guys goes first.
given there's not really much Dante can do, other than I guess he'll kind of try to familiar himself size with the ship, but someone else should go first. As he can't
If
directly impact anything.
I'm thinking if there's a viable target to fire on, I'd like to go before the gunner anyways, so I can use fire leadership.
Yeah, definitely.
What is it, a TIE fighter?
Yep.
Yeah, Pawn will like look out at like the sensor display of the TIE fighter, and the difficulty on it is 3. Yeah, great odds. I'll take them. Threat.
So what were you trying to do? Like fire target solution or something?
Fire leadership is analyze the target that's coming after you, and if you're successful, you can grant boost dice to a shooter.
Okay, right.
So it's like I'd be like looking at the display and like watching how the TIE fighter moves and what it's trying to do, and then relay that to the shooter. But with the threat, I'd probably misanalyze.
Yeah. So maybe you think there's loads of them, or you think that they're friendly, one or the other. I think probably you think there's more than there are.
Yeah, so I'll say over the comm link to Che, I'll say, I'm looking at them right now on the display, Che. They're taking some kind of, what do you call it? It's a Mars Sable formation. It's random. There's lots of them.
All right, yeah. So as you say that, one of the ties is going to just incredibly quickly catch up with the freighter and take a shot.
And it's going to blast us?
Yep.
Cool.
It's going to try. But misses. Just like skidding along the top of the ship. One of the blasts like goes right past the little bubble that you're in, and you can see like sort of a heat haze as the laser goes by, but doesn't connect.
They got to be going fast. I only saw one of them. I need to open up fire if possible.
Yep. It's your turn.
Cool. Two difficulty?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't actually have any ranks. I just have 3 skills. So success and a threat.
Okay. Let's see. The damage is going to be... Okay. Man, they are squishy.
Good.
So it's a pretty solid hit. Catches it in one of the wings, and the TIE fighter begins to spin a little bit. But I think the threat will be you realize that there's another. So you manage to get the hit on, and as you're like pumping your fist, like, yeah, I got him. You see as this one skids out of the way that right behind it is a second TIE fighter.
Okay.
Okay, who would like to go next?
Can I use my co-piloting position to try and assist the pilot in any way I can? So, like, to free him up from
Definitely.
maneuvers or to get into hyperspace or the like.
Yeah, you can actually make piloting checks, and there's a bunch of stuff you can do.
Yeah, I've got piloting two. I've got 2 green in both types of piloting.
If he's is he trying to do co-piloting straight up?
Yeah, I was kind of gonna let you pilot since it's more exciting than just like you giving a boost all the time. So you could
I'd rather give a boost, I think, because he's like, this is his ship, right? He'd know how to fly it better than I could.
Yeah.
Well, co-piloting actually is even better. Like, it lets you, one sec, I have it here. Drive. Crap, I thought I did. Do any of you guys have the cheat sheet?
I don't know.
By chance?
So there's a couple of actions here that I'm looking at. Like you can blanket barrage, concentrated barrage, damage control, gain the advantage. Oh, that's pilot landing. So there's a bunch of actions you could take, but I mean, if you could just like describe what you want to do, we can figure something out.
I think with like my connection to the Force, maybe like giving me controls to like evade the enemy fire, like sensing when they're going to fire, or the like, so like to maneuver at the last second away from laser fire to free him up for readying the engines for hyper jump or something. That's what I'll be trying to do. I'm not sure if I even can.
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty decent to me. I think we could do like coordination maybe, or piloting space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of those two, and you can basically try and take some evasive maneuvers.
And do I roll a purple alongside it, or how many purple?
Just call it 2.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's a failure with an advantage. So I guess you don't manage to pull off the evasive maneuver, but something good happens.
The engines are ready.
Yeah, maybe what you do is you, rather than get into an evasive maneuver, you come into an aggressive one. So you're gonna your ship's gonna be right in view, but it's also put the gunners in an excellent position to take a good shot.
Cool.
Okay, who's next? Dante.
At this point, there's not really much you can do, so he's going to just kind of investigate the ship. Maybe check out what cargo the guy has.
I think you can do stuff like angle the shields and whatnot. I think you can do that if you're like at a terminal or whatever. You could try and do something with that, or yeah, you could just investigate the ship. This is my first space battle or like vehicle battle, so I'm a little bit. Oh, sweet! Look at this. Yes. So here's all the stuff you can do. Is that just for co-pilot or?
No, those are for any of them. The co-pilot, though, you have to be the co-pilot to take that one.
Okay.
Like scan the enemy, spoofing missiles. Let me scroll up. There's more.
Oh.
Fire
Awesome.
discipline, slice enemies. All these other people can take.
Okay.
Except gain the advantage. That's pilot only.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to try any of those, just give me something to do.
Yeah, I think I would try the fire discipline using my leadership.
Excellent. Yeah.
So he's got a little bit of ability with that.
Sweet, man. There's all the stuff that you can do if you're not piloting. It's so good.
So that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 1. What would be the difficulty? Was it 3? It says.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we go. Big money, no whammy. Ugh.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
Now, I would do fire discipline too, like trying to set him up again. So maybe me and you have like some banter on it, Dennis, and like the advantage helps me identify it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Like we're both like standing over the screen, like looking at it, and I'm like, "See, Mars Sable.
I'm not sure, but you may be right.
All right, I'm gonna use my discipline this time instead of my leadership because that's better. I should have used that the first time. But bam, complete wash. So I'll like stroke my chin. I'll say, but only 2. That's unorthodox to say the least for a Mars Sable.
Yeah, Dante's trying to like keep up with the conversation, but like this is the second time that he's ever been in space, and he's never been in a space battle, so he's just kind of winging it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pon's entire experience with like outer space was through like a hollow novel that he had read. This is like military fiction that he's trying to recall.
Yeah, more stable. Makes sense. Okay, so then the TIE fighter is going to try and take a shot. Let's see, they can pull it off this time. Oh yeah, they do pull it off. Nine. Okay, yeah, it's a good hit. Blasts on the top, very close to where you are, Jay. You see like a big plume of smoke suddenly just like flowing out as you are speeding through the air, and the ship is kind of rocked as it gets hit. Who goes next?
Should I go after? Is this like a new round? 'Cause
Yes.
maybe I'll let some fire discipline go off if somebody wanted to do that. So I'll go later.
Yeah, we like double failed on the new fire discipline, so you're all set.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he'll bear down then. Can I take a point of strain to aim with gunnery as well?
Yeah. Well, I think you can just have the maneuver for free, right? Because you're not using it for anything else. So you can
cool.
double aim if you wanted to take strain.
Sure, yeah, I'll throw 2 boosts on it and I'll take strain there.
You have a boost already from the action that Naraway took, where she managed to move the ship into a firing position.
Oh, awesome. So will that be 3?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh
Two.
man,
2 success, 4 advantage.
that might be crit.
As I try to punch holes right through the fighter.
Are these guns that he's firing linked? Do they have
Yes.
like linked 1? Oh
linked,
man, yeah, that'll trigger linked 1 for sure.
Yeah. So you can either have the crit or linked, I guess, right? Because it's 2 to trigger the linked.
I'll do linked because when I see that option flash up on the gun, it's like something I've never seen on any arms before. So I just hit that button immediately. And
Yeah. So the first shot hits the TIE fighter, and the second blasts it to pieces. Just like the wing comes off and just like skids away, and the TIE fighter just rolls away into the air to make a plume of explosion that hits the ground.
Chey just looks over to his blaster rifle that's slung in the corner, and he's like 1 barrel. He just shakes his head in disgust.
Yeah, sick. Nice shot. Okay, Naraway.
Since we've blasted one away and the other's been winged, I'm going to try again for that co-piloting to make it easy for the pilot. So I do 2 purple, 2 green, I believe.
So there's a bunch of, if you just hold on a second, there's a bunch of other actions. If you look on Andrew's screen, there's like tons of actions that you could take that might go off skills that you have, rather than like just going for piloting, which you mightn't be as good at.
Because I'm the co-pilot, I can use plot cores.
Oh yeah, you could. You could try and get the astrogation or perception.
I've got a good perception, so I'll be like looking over this data pad. I'll say, okay, the next easy jump is this one right here, and I'll point down. And the captain, busy as he is, nods. Yeah, that'll do. And I begin readying it up.
Perfect. So it's 3 purples.
And a yellow, and I have black.
Black, I think.
Makes it easy for me.
I think black means it's a career skill. I'm just going to check.
Oh, okay, cool. So no advantage here.
Let's see. Your perception is 1 yellow and 3 green. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, not. It looks like there's too much chaos. You may be a bit too low in orbit to get a proper astrogation jump sorted. So yeah, it's just a bit too stressful. I can imagine it's for all of you incredibly stressful.
Yeah, indeed.
So unfortunately, no success there. Okay, and then Dante.
So I'm going to go ahead and try that again. Is it the
Firing discipline? Yep.
Okay. And it's how many purple?
3.
3. Okay. 2, 1, 3, 1, 1.
Oh wow. It's quite a roll.
Oof. So
it's a success. So there'll be a boost given to the next roll. Do you want to use those dark side points for more successes? I don't think it helps. Does it?
I'm trying to, let's see, what is it for my leadership?
In this situation, it doesn't. If we had multiple gunners, though, it could.
Right.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's any. I think the only thing I could do is get some advantages to eliminate the threat, but I don't think I will.
Okay. So I think the threat will be in the form of a hail. You would hear it near away. In the front where the hail pops up. And it would say, let's see, Wayfarer class medium freighter. This is Imperial Patrol Boat 3487. We require you to stop immediately and submit your ship for boarding and inspection. Do not resist, or you will be shot out of the sky. And the guy just like looks at you and raises an eyebrow, and then grins and guns it. Okay, so that was yourself. So it'd be back to the top, which I guess would be Pon.
Yeah, if they're trying to communicate with us, Pon is going to use the companel and try to use like the low jamming frequency to stop them from communicating with us. I'm going to say no good can come of dealing with them. So it's a computer check 2 against difficulty 2. And I suck at computers. Ooh, I got a success though.
Excellent. Okay, yeah. So you managed to jam the comms. Is that what it does, right?
It's by default it's jammed. Every time they want to communicate with us, they must make a 2 computers check to get through the jamming.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess the threat maybe is that they.
Well, could it be that it taking it down, he like took comms down, and something will have to be done to get the comms back up?
Well, yeah, like whenever you jam, you also jam your own comms. Like you just jam, there's no protection against it. So maybe now we're unable to communicate.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, so maybe it's kind of a low-tech solution. There might have been a more refined way to do it, but you're just like, stop all of it, and there's no more comms to be had. The remaining TIE fighter is going to try and take a shot. But he misses once again. He's been hit already, and you can see that his ship is not operating at maximum capacity. There's like smoke and stuff trailing from it as he just tries to take a clumsy shot. It's sort of just a glancing blow, which would be like a setback for you, but you already have so many boosts, so I think you'll be okay. And then it's one of you guys.
I could give the TIE fighter a parting gift as he soars by. So I think that'll knock me down if I'm aiming to still 1 boost with that setback.
Yes.
Cool. And yeah, I'll rat-a-tat-tat. Ooh, fail, but 2 advantage.
Okay. Yes, you're gonna just about miss him. Any ideas for the advantage?
He veers off like his like course of like, or the optimal course of chasing us to like get away from the laser fire, which like puts heaps of distance between us, so we can better make our jump away.
Perfect. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So to dodge, he has to like spin out of the way, and he loses his targeting run.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see him like spinning in a bowl, just like over head over heels, just constantly in a circle as he tries to get away. Um, okay, and then it's another one of you guys. The captain says, "We need goddamn coordinates to get out of here, anywhere."
Yeah, I'll try and plot the course once more.
Yeah. Yeah, so you managed to like hammer in a bunch of coordinates, and yeah, he punches it, and the stars, and you guys are out of there.
The question is, what were the coordinates that you punched in?
That's the question.
Doesn't matter. It was a success.
I think it's probably going to be decent with those advantages, so it's somewhere positive. Oh yeah, okay. So you guys were, let's see, studying this map over the last few days. I've gotten extremely intimate with this map. So you guys were, if you're looking at the map, on the like far left-hand side. So if you see like where Rakata Prime is, like left of that, even more so, and to sort of down. It's actually you're close to like Zadia and Zonama Sikot. I don't know if those, if you can see that on Andrew's map. It's like way on the left.
I think this map is actually different from the orientation in the book because Rakata Prime's down here, so it would be like turn this 90 degrees.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So you would be around there. So you can pretty much pick like a planet around here that you guys could jump to. And if you have like, I don't know, it's not even outer rim; it's wild space, isn't it? That's at this stage still. So, what would you say? Maybe that's lower.
The area of space we're in too is like down here is like all a mess of fucking anomalies that stop you from using hyperspace. So we're like right on the edge of just like I would say personally, from like the little knowledge Pon would have, I would say head southeast towards like the Model subsector or Greater Yavin, or Greater Javan rather, like Hoth or maybe Bespin. That's like pretty far away.
It's far, yeah, definitely.
It's like civilization, but maybe we don't want to go to civilization. Maybe we want something more remote.
Yeah, I was thinking remote, but then you did say Hoth. I like the sound of
that. That might be too remote for us. Well, I always forget. Which one is this? That's the Corellian trade spine. Maybe we could head towards the Corellian trade spine and then just take it north, because we're rotating at 90 degrees until we find some kind of planet that has like very little life form on it, like maybe something like Niklon or Runa or something like that. I don't know. We probably have to stop somewhere on the way though, because that's quite a far distance.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, bio break, and then we can decide when we get back.
Cool. Oh, I'm back. Alrighty, I'm back.
Okay.
Now, I just looked at travel times. I
Uh-huh.
saw that Bespin to Coruscant is 5.5 days on a Class 1 using the Corellian trade spine. So that might
Okay.
just be like a, as like a, just a rough, what does that cover? 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Something like
And I
11.
guess it's much quicker on the lanes, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, the thing with the lanes is you don't have to really drop out of hyperspace.
Right. Otherwise, you have to do quite a few jumps.
Yup.
For long term or like final destination, Dante would suggest maybe consulting the cube.
Yep. I
Yeah,
was
it's
thinking.
not a bad idea. I know one thing. We definitely can't go through the core. That place is fucking like super controlled by the Empire, like top secret.
Yeah, you can consult the cube for sure. I guess once you guys are in hyperspace, and it's going to take you like a little while to be moving, there's a little bit of calm on the ship. And the pilot would be like, "Well, that didn't exactly go as planned. Um, they probably have our codes. Uh, you're still good for the money, right? I'll see those credits now."
He'll kind of pat his pockets like he can't find the money, and look to the guy, and then just kind of chuckle and pull it out and hand him the cred stick.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, at least something. Whew. And he's like sweating and stuff. He's like wiping sweat off his face. I did not expect that. You're a good shot.
And climbing down from the gunwell, Chey would he'd grab up some of the simple garb that was provided by Arctura, I believe, and he'll look to Dante and he'll say, "Oh, next time you got to fire off those guns."
If it's all the same, hopefully there won't be a next time.
I hear that.
Okay, so it looks like
It's like a
Ratatak.
pleasant place.
So that would have been the initial coordinates that you picked. I guess it was a planet that was near. Um, so you'd be going heading in that direction. Um, and I guess he would say that that is where the what do you call them? The brain heads. That's where they live. I'm not too keen on them myself. Shady.
I would confess that I don't recall having dealings with them before. I know of what you speak. And he's just thinking of the odd heads.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we might be able to find somewhere to lay low there for a little bit, or we can just get to that space and maybe plot another jump. Where do you want to go?
We must meditate upon that.
Right, right. Well, there's guest quarters, and he points vaguely in the direction of the back of the ship.
They'll do. Thank
How
you.
long? How long do we have before we must plot our next jump?
About a day or two.
Yeah, this chart for within region has it 10 to 72 hours.
Right.
Very well, we shall have your answer before then.
All right. Well, good luck with the meditating. He seems very uncomfortable with this whole thing, and he just goes back to his cockpit.
Before we would meditate, I would say, uh, Dante, might I have just a moment with you?
Of course.
And he'll like go over next to a synthetic like coffee dispenser and have like a little Dixie cup thing and squirt some coffee into it. Shh. That'll be like, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for being so forward and judgmental when we were back on the planet. I've never got the chance to speak to you about it, but when Master let us out that day, when we were out there in the forest, I was afraid you were going to go dark. I saw something in you, and it scared the shit out of me.
Dante will shift uncomfortably as he studies Pond for a moment. In truth, my friend, you have no reason to apologize. I wish to thank you. It is good to have someone that to help keep me on the path. For you were not wrong in what you saw.
And he'll consider that for a moment. He'll say, "Perhaps I wasn't wrong, but I wasn't right either. What you said about us needing to get off the planet, that was true. You might have a cross to bear in this temptation, but I think my cross to bear will realizing that sometimes you have to do things that are bad for the greater good."
In any event, no matters such as these should become an issue between friends. With the master gone, we must rely on each other.
He'll shoot you a smile and pull out the cube and say, "Shall we meditate?"
Dante will nod.
So as we like walk to the others, I'll put my hand on Dante's back and I'll say, "So, be honest with me. How cool was that when I hit that guy in the back of the head and said, 'Jedi business'?"
Dante will chuckle. He has a few thoughts, perhaps not criticisms, more tips for Pon and those kind of situations, but he has to admit to himself that was pretty awesome, and he'll just give a nod and say, "You did good, kid."
Yeah, he'll smile ear to ear and say, "Yeah, I know it was a little flashy, but it felt good to be a Jedi."
All right, so I can imagine you guys getting into one of these guest quarters and like sitting in a circle, either kneeling or sitting cross-legged, closing your eyes and trying to center yourself with the holocron in the middle. And it will, after a couple of moments where you manage to center yourself, float up and open. You seek guidance.
Our master is dead. We have fled the planet. The Imperials chase us, and we do not know where to go.
Well, that is tricky. War is terrible. Somewhere secluded, I would say, would be best. Somewhere you can learn the ways of the Force, complete your training. I sense fear in all of you.
Pon's ready for his first lesson. Like he leans forward and says, "Yes, I've felt it too. How do I get rid of this fear?"
You must not get rid of fear. It is a part of being alive, but you must not let it rule you. It is useful. It lets you know that you're in danger, lets you know that you're alive. But you have to be able to control it. You cannot let it overtake you. Let it control your actions.
Pon will ruminate on that for a second. He'll say, "So even the master was afraid."
Yes, even the master, even I, once was afraid.
And I'll look at Chey and I'll say, "I think I speak for all of us when I say I want to master my fear. Teach me, master. How do I do it?"
To master your fear. Your fear, it comes from so many different places. It comes from the fear of loss, from attachment. Attachment to things, to people, to life itself. You have to learn to live in the moment and let go of these attachments.
Pon'll, that'll be like just a smack to Pon's head. Like he'll rock back and sit down Indian style and just like put his hand down or his head down in his hand and think to himself, for the last 5, 6, 7 years, all I've done is think about the Jedi Order and returning it to power and how glorious it was going to be. I don't think I've spent enough time here and in the moment. I think this cube is right. You'll just see him like in deep contemplation.
Where are you headed?
Ratataki, master.
I don't know such a place. I would suggest that you find somewhere isolated, somewhere quiet, somewhere away from prying eyes. You mentioned empire. I do not know to what you refer.
They're the ones that have hunted and killed the Jedi.
Yes, then doubly so. You must find somewhere quiet, somewhere that you can complete your training. Let me think. No, I have to think. You would say see. Little quiet world somewhere. I guess Endor is quiet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he would say there's a small moon, Endor. It is quiet. One with nature. It's a good place for you to continue your training. It will be difficult. You'll have to provide for yourselves, but that is part of the challenge.
Pond will get like all excited and he'll go, "Well, then we have to go to Endor."
Endor. I've heard that planet is almost blanketed in forests. Is this true? Is there plenty of hunt, plenty of game in their terra fauna?
It is. It was in my time lush, unspoiled.
Then that is where we must go, and we will use what the Master has taught us to survive and continue our training.
Indeed. You speak of hunting like it's a game.
My family provided for the rest of our kin by hunting, and I would see none of my allies go hungry while we train.
Indeed. See that you do not hunt for glory, nor for sport, but for sustenance.
Pond will say, "Master, if I might be so bold, how could we find other Jedi? They've got to be out there."
Arn told me they were hiding, that he was hiding. It will be difficult. Perhaps with enough training you may be able to sense them. But I would think the Jedi would hide in places like Endor, quiet places, places of tranquility, of life.
Pond will like look down at his hands, and his vision will then sharply focus in on the hilt of his vibro rapier, and he'll tighten his fist and he'll say, "We aren't real Jedi yet. We lack our trial. Lightsabers. We need to become strong enough to wield them."
You need to become strong enough. I think physically you are there, but there's much more to strength than the strength of one's arm. Lightsabers. In my time, we would go to Ilum to get the crystals. I do not know if that's still the case, but the world was rich in crystals for lightsabers. But the lightsaber, it's just a weapon. A powerful weapon, but just a weapon, a last resort.
Pond is just like glowing, and he's like, "Is it not to assemble?"
That too. But it is a symbol of power. And that too can be dangerous if you rely on it too much.
I'll look at Dante, and I'll say, "How will we know when we're ready?"
Dante will be looking down, his fingers curling into a fist as he thinks that if they had been stronger, if they had their lightsabers, when that man came for the master, that they could have stopped him.
That's what I'm thinking also.
Chey's thinking how the single barrel of his blaster is inadequate, and he does need new weapons. But he's actually he's thinking about honing his mind more so than the lightsaber. He wants to tackle the Force with his training.
The training of a Jedi takes decades, and most of that time is not spent in combat. It is spent in quiet contemplation. You will be warriors, yes. But warriors is a last resort. You should never seek violence.
Pan will say, what of the Shincho Knights? Arn told me that they were great warriors.
It's true. And in times of war, sometimes the Jedi would go and fight. In my time, there was a great war, and much waste of life. It should be a last resort, but we must prepare for those situations that require our help. That is where these orders come from. Orders of the Chicho Knights, orders of Makashi duelists. There are many schools within the Jedi Order. Many focus on defeating a foe, but only when all other options have failed.
Then we will need to learn and learn quickly. We do not have decades. The master was hunted and he was killed, and now we are hunted as well.
Indeed. I will try to accelerate your training as quickly as I can. For now, go to Endor. Survive. Learn. I must rest.
Wait, Cube, what of this pilot? Can he know where we're going? Can we trust him?
I don't know. He was kind enough to take you off the planet. However, if he knows where you are, men always want money.
Then perhaps we will not have him take us to Endor, but someplace else, and we can find another way.
That would be wise.
Nira seems like a capable enough pilot. You could fly us, couldn't you, Nira?
Perhaps, she'd say. Though not as skillfully as our current pilot.
Chey would throw in that as a bargaining chip or a plight with the pilot, the current owner, we might let him know that we'd be taking the focus of the attention on the transponder codes that have been leaked now, or gathered by the Empire, as they're searching for him now that we've been engaged by TIE fighters. So if we could, we'd be like buying the heat off him as opposed to actually paying for the ship, if it came to trying to convince him.
He'd want quite a lot of money for the ship, even if he wanted to hastily get rid of it, I think. He seemed shrewd, and wasn't so much willing to help us as willing to pay back that favor to that guy that he owed and get paid for that too.
That's quite true.
If we were to take the ship, we would likely have to do it by force.
And perhaps we just let the attention of the Empire leave with him and his ship, and we get dropped off elsewhere.
Yes, whatever his motives, he did get us off planet, and he did have an opportunity to give us up. before the battle started, and he did not. I say we finish our travel with him and then work towards the next step of reaching Endor on our own.
So where do we tell him we're going to head then?
Is there a hub near Endor, Lloyd, that you have pulled up? Like, it could be a space station, just any place with like even a low service port.
Yeah, sure. There's definitely one. There's a couple of planets in that little subsector. You definitely find a little space station there.
Yeah, I would think then go to a close low service port to Endor and look for just like a ferry over to the moon.
Yep, sounds reasonable. Yeah, so the cube would return to its quiet rest and float down to the ground.
Pon will lean back and he'll say, "You know, Nira, I've been meaning to ask you, why did Master Arn not let you go into town that day?" And he'll get like a whimsical look on his face.
He had said that I needed further training. Kept me back to instruct me further. And like you could tell by the way that she's saying it's like salty in her mouth. She thinks quite lofty of herself, and that was a harsh reckoning. And then so after that, she wasn't on such goodly terms. She was turmoiled with the master, and then he died. And so that's kind of gnawing at her. So when she says it, she'd say it as abruptly as possible, trying to like hide the shame of it.
Pon has what we call truth Tourette's. So as he's like leaning back and
My favorite.
you show it, he says, "You know, Nira, in some ways, you're the most advanced of all of us. But I do see the master's point."
It's true. I'm not ready. None of us are. None of us were. Not even the master was ready, she'll say. And then she'll turn and walk away.
Pon will look over to Dante and like kind of shrug. "Something I said?"
Dante will kind of glare at him as he pushes to his feet and goes after Nira.
And I'll turn to Chey and I'll shrug and say, "You know what? 3 strikes, I think I'm out today."
That third one was a cold one.
Yeah, you'd find Nira in like the quarters just like bashing away at a dummy, or they're like practicing with the vibroglaive, or like doing something that she's good at and like pouring her emotion into it.
Dante will stand in the doorway, but he won't enter.
In her mind, she's thinking of the master speaking to her, of how hastily or how quickly like emotion can overcome her even after meditating, and even just from like Pon's words, like upsetting her slightly, like his words ring in her head as she's kind of like proven them true once more just by her like action. And so she's like trying to act confident in her practice.
After a few moments, Dante will lightly clear his throat and then say, "You cannot take what he has said to heart."
And she'll stop, standing like letting the glaive like bud touch the floor, and then stop to look with sweat beginning to build. "I know," she says, like struggling to admit it.
Did they tell you what happened that day that we went to town?
I'd heard there was some trouble. But there wasn't much time. What exactly happened?
The village had become attacked by these cats in numbers that was quite unusual, so we went to investigate. I felt the darkness to the east, and we were going there. And then I felt something else, something different, the absence of the force. It was the creature that attacked us.
Do you think it connected to the Sith who killed Master Arn?
I think perhaps another. There was something else
Or
there.
two there are.
I do not know. We never made it. The creature attacked us. In a moment of weakness and in fear, I felt the darkness, and I used it.
Master Arn has always said, fear is the path to the dark side. It seems we must wrangle with it and know it intimately, yet not succumb to it. Yet it's all around us, she'll say, looking forlornly out like the porthole to space.
Yes, there's still much we must learn. Until then, we will have to rely on each other.
We'll have to return, she says, hoping that he knows that too.
He nods at her back, sensing that she will know somehow. And he'll say, just know that I trust you as I trust the others with my life.
She nods and doesn't say anything, but you can see that the feeling is mutual from her body language. She says we must ask our new master and speak to him of this disturbance you felt. Perhaps he will know more.
Dante sighs, feeling a heavy weight on his shoulders. Yes, but for now, I need to rest. It has been a long day.
She nods too, and she leaves the quarters for him to rest. She says, I'll go and find Pon.
He will turn and watch her go, glancing down the hallway for a few moments after she's out of sight. Then he'll go in the quarters and lay down and try to find a piece to sleep.
Pon is like, he's kind of fidgeting with the back of his rapier, and he's having a little bit of a deep thought for him. He's thinking to himself, that program in the cube is so much different than Arn. Even their presence feels different. I wonder why Arn never told us about the cube. And like a shadow of a thought crosses into Pon's mind that maybe the master had kept it a secret for a very important reason.
And while you're pondering that, maybe even out loud, you're doing that to the rhythmic counting out of chin-ups from Chey, just over off to your side. And he'll drop down and he'll add, the cube also was hesitant to identify itself. And Chey's just heaving breath.
Yeah, I'll like look at you and say, like with a very shocking realization, you're right. I asked him who he was and he wouldn't reveal his true name. You don't think that somehow a cube could become corrupted, do you? Or wait, maybe not even corrupted. Do you think that somehow the dark side can imprint upon a cube? Perhaps one of these dark Jedi could have made their own, and Arn came into contact with it somehow.
I would admit that knowledge of these things are far out of my wheelhouse, but I see no reason why it couldn't be a possibility.
Something about it just isn't right. I didn't feel deception. What the cube said was true, but it was something about the way it said it. So dogmatic. And I'll lock eyes with you and say, just between me and you, Chey, I think we should be careful.
Chey will nod, and then he goes back to doing another round of chin-ups.
Awesome. So a little while later, you guys will come out of hyperspeed, just in orbit around this space station. And Arctura will say, "Well, we're here. What now?"
What's your plan, Spacer?
Well, if it's up to me, I would keep going to the other side of the galaxy if need be. Get some new transponder codes. Lay low for a while.
That sounds like a smart plan. Any advice for it? I probably wouldn't have to give, and I'll just sort of pat him on the side and thanks for the clothes. I'll go to my new vest, but then yeah, I'll make for the exit plank.
So we're parting ways.
You have helped us greatly, but I think it is best if we did part ways. They'll be looking for us to be traveling together. It should be safer for you to be alone.
Yeah, he nods. You can see a huge amount of relief on his face. And he nods and says, "Yes, I think that's probably safer for everyone." Yeah. All right, well, I'll dock us and we can say our farewells then. So he does. Pulls in and docks onto this space station. And I'll say, "Well, wherever you go or whatever you're up to, I wish you luck. And I hope the Empire don't find you."
If our paths should cross again and we can be of service, you have but to ask. Until that time should come, may the Force be with you.
Yeah, he nods.
As Pond is leaving the ship, he'll say, "I never got a chance to introduce myself. The name is Pond. Thank you." And I'll hold him out a 250 credit chip, which is the rest of Pond's money. And he'll say, "I know it's not enough to change those transponders, but it'll help anyways."
He'll look down and look at you. And he'll actually raise an eyebrow and say, "No, that's okay. You're going to need them."
He'll smile and say, "We'll both be needing them." And he'll he'll look down at the chip and then look back up at the man and say, "But I'm a Jedi." And he'll throw him the chip.
Take it and smile. "Well, like I say, I wish you luck."
Yep, and Pond will say, "May the Force be with you," and he'll walk off.
All right, so you step onto this space station, looking to get a ferry to Endor. I think that's a good place to leave it. Having escaped from the clutches of the dark side and having made your way into recognizable space. So yeah, thanks to anyone who watched, and we end the broadcast.